Hey there guys, this is Jack over at Hi Red Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. Now this video will be the 5-week update on the hand raising of this clutch of green cheek conures, so as you can see I am a little bit tired. That coffee is ever so important because babies really can be exhausting. At this point, all I really want for Christmas is a decent under-eye circle remover, because, yeah, I'm starting to look a little bit rough. Unfortunately, I am going to have more babies on the way. The adult pair of green cheeks reclutched after I pulled these babies, so they currently have 4 eggs. I have some cockatiels that are currently on eggs, and I have sun conures who typically start nesting around this time of year, maybe in another couple of weeks. So babies, there will be a ton of babies. But these babies are the ones that we are focused on right now. Most of what we're going to be doing is exactly the same. Preparing the formula, cleaning the babies, looking them over. Now at this point, I am only checking the weights on the babies once a day. The babies are currently in the process of weaning, and they're not super happy about it. Now they are going to still get hand-fed 4 times a day. And as you can see, they pretty much jump out of the box. Now they do have some perching that is going to be in that container as well. They are not quite at a point where I would want them in a larger cage because, as you can see, you'll watch them through the video, they are not the most graceful, so I don't want to run the risk of them getting injured. Now, for every feeding, they do get to come out of the box for a little bit. They love to perch on the side of the box, as you can see. And I will give them some supervised time out of the box where I can let them move around, but not run the risk of them getting injured. Now, they are going to have food available to them in their container as well, but the hand feeding is definitely their favorite part of the day. Now the reason, and you can see they're very excited about it, they always want to help. Now the reason I am checking their weight once a day, I want to monitor any drops in their weight as they are weaning. Birds are typically going to have a little bit of a weight drop as they get weaned onto solid food because it does take them a little while to recognize that that is actually food. So I just want to check their weight to make sure that they are not losing too much weight. Now, as I was getting ready to prepare the formula, the babies were yelling at me, and I don't like babies yelling at me, especially first thing in the morning. And yeah, as you can see, they're very, very graceful. But since they were yelling at me, I decided to go ahead and just use my mom hack that I showed you guys before. I will keep Pedialyte, or a pediatric electrolyte solution, in the fridge. So if I need that formula to cool down a little bit more, if I want to just get it to temperature really, really quickly, I can add a splash of that refrigerated pediatric electrolyte to get the formula to temperature almost immediately, because babies, as you see, have no patience at all. So once it is time for feeding, we're going to go ahead. So I wanted to show you guys, I will usually try to perch one of these birds on the pinky of one hand, and then I can use the remainder of that hand to hold the wings into position. Now, I've showed you something similar to this before. My goal here is not to restrain the babies. My goal is just to sort of keep those wings in control, because when a baby is giving a full-out feeding response, those wings go everywhere. That means they have the potential of flinging formula absolutely everywhere, and that is something I want to avoid. As is, even though they are larger, they are pretty good at hand feeding. They are still going to have some times where they don't necessarily swallow all the formula at one time. They will sometimes fling it on you, so it still can be pretty messy anyways. But again, here you can see, take the baby, put it on just that pinky finger, use the rest of the hand to just sort of restrain the wings so that they cannot fly everywhere. And as you can see, the wings usually find a way to get out because, Again, these are good, healthy babies. They give a very enthusiastic feeding response, which is what you want to see with your babies. It's just not necessarily something you want to be dealing with at the same time, because it does make it a little bit harder. But as you can see, these babies are getting a good amount of food per feeding. These guys are going to be getting 12 cc's of formula per feeding, which is going to be 15% of their body weight. And they're going to be getting that 4 times a day. Now, when these guys are not getting their hand feeding formula, they do have a bowl of food. Now, I've shown you guys how I prep produce for parrots. I'll put a link up near the top of the video. It'll be available for you guys to see, but I will usually take that produce for the birds, and then I will just finely mince it for these little guys, because they're not that good at biting off pieces. At this point, they really don't understand that that is food. They are starting to pick at it a little bit, but it does take them a few days to recognize that that's what's going on. So you'll notice I did go a little bit out of order. I fed both babies, and then I'm cleaning both babies afterward. And the only reason for that is that at this age, the babies lack any kind of patience. So I just wanted to get food into both of the babies as quickly as possible, because you can see once they get fed, they're a little bit calmer. Now, they do like their time that's going to be out of the box. They are going to be stretching their wings quite a bit. They are going to be climbing around. They like to climb on their box. They like to climb around all over me. But as you've seen, they are not remotely graceful at this. So I'll monitor them during their interactions outside of the box for the next few days. Hopefully, within about a week or so, they can get moved into a small cage. But I just don't want to push them too far too fast. I don't want to run the risk of them falling, getting a wing or a foot stuck, because I don't want to run the risk of these guys getting injured, because even though they scream at me at 6 a.m. and borderline drive me insane, I am, attached to them. They're good little birds. So you can see they do behave pretty well most of the time. So while I'm prepping their food for the morning, I will go ahead and just watch them while I'm doing that. I'm literally just out of the screen in my kitchen prepping that food. Now, unfortunately, though, these guys are the little baby birds that interact with each other, and sometimes you are not necessarily the nicest towards your sibling. They will get into little squabbles, and it's usually something incredibly simple. His foot is touching me, and they're screaming and yelling and flailing. So that can be a little bit of an issue. The main reason that becomes an issue is when they've been squabbling with each other and the baby decides, oh, I need to fight you too. Now, at this point, for these little guys, I am just working to get them really calm, really used to people. So you can see, yeah, there was a little bit of yelling, a little bit of flailing, but in a matter of seconds, they can be calmed down. They can be really, really calm, gentle birds. Just talking to these guys, getting them used to people. They're a little bit obnoxious, but they are good birds. They have the potential to be really, really good pets, so I am excited for this. So you can see it does not take long for them to realize, oh, you're just mom. That's fine. So they've had a little bit of time out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead. These guys are going to work with me. Now, I do have a compost pile at work, so I will clean out their box at work every single day. They're on pine shavings right now, so that is going to produce a good amount of waste. So by composting it, I can ensure that it's not going to a landfill or anything. Now, one of the things I've been asked to show is that once I'm done with hand feeding the babies, I do pull all of the things off the table. Go ahead and completely clean and disinfect your space. Now, that's going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to ensure that you have a clean working space for working with your birds. But two, and potentially more importantly, if you live with other people, It will make them not resent the birds because there isn't a terrible mess being left behind. So I definitely encourage you guys to take advantage of this step. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Red Bird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!